Hello everyone, Will Chapman here with Brock Partners, coming at you again with another video to help you increase productivity and scale your business. Now, there's a lot of question to us specifically of, I'm ready to scale, I'm ready to move on, I'm ready to grow, I'm tired of, being by myself in this. What are the steps that I need to take? Now, before I start this, understand that these are the beginning steps. I will mention a few of the advanced steps later on, but it takes a minute to get there. What I really want you to focus on are what are going to be the first steps that you're going to have to take to go from a solo agent to a bustling agency. So to start, you got to kill what we call the hero complex. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. When you're running a business, operating a business, you have to be a hero of sorts, right? It's just you, and the weight is all on you when that time comes. There will come a time where you have to decide that this is too much weight for me to carry and I have to get some help, or I've hit just the amount of limit that I can hit and I can tote this, but looks like, and I really don't want to grow past this level. You'll have to make that conscious decision of, is what I have right now enough, and is this where I want to be, or am I ready to scale, am I ready to grow? So here are a few of the traits that we run into, probably more often than not. So first and foremost, the solo bottleneck, relying on individual talent, hustle, and an 80-hour work week to close deals and resolve administrative friction. It's not a ceiling. I mean, it is a ceiling. It's not a strategy that you can actually implement. You will eventually cap out. You will eventually run out of bandwidth. Next, the client relationship codependency. Conditioning your block of business that you are the only person that they can talk to. Now, I'm not saying that in order to keep your business, when you say, oh, you got other agents calling you, don't talk to them, call me. What I'm talking about is that if you get to the point where you're ready to start hiring an admin, but every time somebody calls in, they have to talk to you, your administrators, your support team, they cannot handle some of your basic rudimentary service work, you have to start letting that go. Yes, your clients will be a little bit frustrated at first, but they will get used to it. You're not going to be able to service everything all the time. It's just not possible. Next, the operator's ultimate bottleneck, which is a combination of a lot of things, but really what it boils down to is being paralyzed by fear of change and clinging on to the old way of doing something. If I'm doing it and it's working, why would I stop doing it? I say that's a fair question, but you are also saying at the same time and in the same breath that I want to also scale my business. That is going to come with change, and it will come with some pains that you're going to have to learn to absorb. So scaling is choked when the founder is trapped in that hero complex, believing only they can fix client issues. They're paralyzed in fear of change, clinging to familiar clunky tech stacks and manual compliance routines. And then obviously, giving your personal cell phone number out and people just blowing you up all the time. That's eventually that cell phone number has to become your business line. You get yourself a new cell phone number, and then you're not doing that anymore. But these are things that you're going to have to grow out of. It doesn't happen overnight, and there will be some growing pains along with these. Next, the 80% formula. So delegation anxiety, a lot of the scaling problems are, okay, I have to give over control to somebody that I don't 100% trust. And in your business, which is your baby, I completely get it. But that also comes down to training. So the fear that nobody will be able to enter data, verify networks, handle compliance in the exact precise way that I do. This is a scarcity perspective, and it locks agency growth. Now, system leverage output. So a structured system executing 80, so really all you got to do is get your employees to 70 to 80% as effective as you are. And these are internal. These are internal numbers that we have seen as in our first 5 employees. And that's growing from Justin. What we found was that once we actually saw that everybody was operating at that 80% efficiency, we saw a 400% increase in output. So yes, can they do it as well as you? Probably not, because you have all this experience, but they can do it almost as well as you, and your output increases tremendously. So this math isn't just pie in the sky numbers. This is actually true. And this also comes down to training as well, which we'll get into in just a second. So in your business, you do want to create as frictionless of architecture as possible, and that includes your communications, that includes all of your technology, it includes everything. You want everything to be as frictionless as possible until you're ready to create a little bit of friction in your marketing, and sometimes that can shake things up a little bit and get your phone ringing. But for the most part, you want everything to be nice, well-oiled machine. So constructing a single source of truth and secure automation stream. So of course your CRM is your single source of truth. If you're not using one, I would really recommend starting to use one, especially if you're going to scale. If you get more hands and more folks that are involved, you're going to have to have something that's stood up, that's firm, that's ready to go, and more importantly, and most importantly, is consistent for everybody. So again, CRM, definitely something that you have to solve. It is, you don't have to have a specific one. We all obviously recommend GoGuruX, but you don't have to have a specific one, but you need to have a system. Next, API quoting and automation. So being able to have all of your enrollment platforms in one place, keeping your agents all in one place, keeping them focused and undistracted, that's a huge, huge deal. A lot of these APIs are being built into CRMs. As I said, GoGuruX has them directly integrated in, so you never leave the platform. So how can you keep your agents more locked in to what they're doing? And then, of course, frictionless integration. So integrate leads with instant dialing engines, which are available, manual lags, and saving crucial operational speed. And these integrations can go all over the place. They can go from Calendly, and they can go from Thanks.io. You have an unlimited amount of integrations of things that you can get into. Most of them are pretty easy to set up. You just need to know why you are integrating. Don't just integrate because your neighbor is doing it. Understand why you're integrating with something and trust that process as you go through it. Next, compliance as a strategic moat for your business. Systemized compliance. Don't treat CMS regulations as a chore. They're mandatory and they're necessary. Embed compliance controls directly inside your technical pipeline and into your processes. Train compliantly. That way, compliance is not that big of a deal. And of course, you always have your fringe cases, but for the most part, if you're training compliantly, you're selling compliantly. Next, gated processing guardrails. VoIP systems must be automatically recorded. That also, not just VoIP systems, but hard systems as well. Lock carrier portals until SOAs are verified. No exceptions. Keep your systems locked down. Don't stay logged into stuff if you're not at your system. Keep your security as high as you possibly can. Have your calls recorded, have them accessible at any point that the carrier requests it. You want to be able to go grab it and grab it easily. If you don't have a system set up for that, be thinking about that. Next, an enterprise asset. Elite compliance protocols act as powerful selling mechanisms when pitched with a clinical and hospital group partnerships, so it can really help grow your referral pipeline by them knowing that you are also compliant. So it's not just something you're doing to keep CMS happy, it's also a value addition that you can have for your referral partners. Next, scale human systems. So systematized onboarding pipelines, training, and objective indicators. All right, so in your first little bit of scaling and hiring, what is really going to be the most important? Number one, building an actual real relationship with that new employee, it being somebody who you don't mind being stuck in a building 8 days an hour with, somebody who you like. And then while you're in that process, you're going to have to pour into them and build that relationship. But on top of that, you're going to have to make sure that they're trained correctly, which if you're a Brock partner, we're happy to help you with that training. But while you're doing the training, I would recommend immediately going ahead and documenting anything that you're training right then and there. Going ahead and having documentation as you scale is a huge help to you later on down the road when documentation is absolutely mandatory and you're starting from nothing. So start documenting your processes early. Also, whenever you're training, don't be afraid to make a few videos, your own training vaults. Of course, we have trainings, but you can make your own trainings for your own team. It's actually very good practice for you as well. In speaking, getting in front of the camera as your marketing improves and grows, you'll also need to have camera presence as well. These things will help you with that down the road. And then next, you want to keep every day productive. So your slow season strategy. Scaling dies when an agency treats a slow month as downtime to coast. Use that breathing room to build automatic pipelines, secure partnerships, systematically audit current client records, match them with missing ancillary protection so that you can reach out and write actual policies during this time, and ensure that you're capturing new T65 and untapped revenue before the peak enrollment hits, right? So how do you do that? You develop predictive lead flow over time, of course, that takes time to do, and then master the act of cross-selling. Learn the bundles, learn your wheelhouse, develop a package that works, and you'll start to see that if you offer that package, you're going to start selling it more often than not. That's why cross-sells and ancillary sales are so important, not just when you're selling a Medicare plan, but they can be a real lifesaver all year long. And then activate with coaching. Use reserved live hours for skilled activation and feedback, things like role-playing and actively testing your agents' minds, even if that's twice a day. And sometimes we do train twice a day here in this building just to keep everybody activated. Next, operational KPIs, things that you're going to be really looking for as you start to scale. Now, of course, dials per day per agent, that's going to vary upon your lead flow. You have to assess how many leads are coming in and see if it actually makes sense. If it's 100 dials a day, if it's 150 dials a day, am I triple dialing? Develop that process, document that process, and train it over and over again. That way, as you're bringing in more agents, your current agents are going to be the standard setters there. Next, contact quote rate. You're going to be really looking at between 25 and 35% of people that you actually talk to. That doesn't count for pickup rate. Can't make people pick up the phone. That's where this activity right here, that dials per day, the activity, that's why that matters. When you are on the phone, you really want to try to be quoting 25 to 35% of the time, at least opening up that door and scheduling additional appointments if you can't close right then. Next, SOA compliance rate, non-negotiable 100% of the time before you give any Medicare information out whatsoever, MA or PDP or MAPD. Please make sure to get that scope of appointment, 100% non-negotiable on that. And then, of course, first call resolutions. This is going to be as you scale your service team, right? When you have someone call into your service team, you want that problem to be handled at least 80% of the time without it ever going to the sales agent or to you. Your support staff is way more capable than you think that they are. They can learn a whole lot of things, and they can handle a whole lot of things without involving you. Don't neglect them. Teach them the Medicare side of things. If they need help with the claim side of it, show them exactly how to do it, but pour into them and train them just like you would an agent. If they can start handling 80% of your service, that's a huge deal for you. Structuring the operator's day. So when you're thinking about your day, and again, these are the baby steps of this. This is rudimentary. There's obviously a lot of detail that goes into this, but I don't have an hour to talk to you right now. All right? So constructing calendar boundaries to consistently maintain structural direction. Deep work AM blocks, reserved strictly for high leverage growth actions. Build new integrations, put in new triggers, automated campaigns, and secure your referral partnerships and relationships and things like that. This time of the day is when you are working on the business. You're actually putting things into the business. You're also not really too concerned about the fires that are going on with clients during this time. This is strictly for building the actual infrastructure of the business itself. And then throughout the day, obviously, you're being as productive as you can and less reactionary as you can, but it's a day, so you're going to go through your day, and then once you get into the PM, that's going to be more for the day-to-day administrative executions, reviewing your KPIs, any audits you need to do, troubleshooting your tech challenges, answering questions, solving inter-office issues that may have arisen during the day. This is when you're handling all that during the afternoon. That's a lot on an operator, but as a business owner, there's going to be a lot that you're going to have to do, so that's just part of it. But you have to find what is the most imperative thing inside of these things. And it doesn't have to be exactly this, but have some sort of structure where you have time to work on your business and in the business. And then you have your work day, and then you can actually look at what was done that day and reflect upon it. Quick little mindset shift here. You start as a solo producer, everything depends on you. Stage 2, which is where most people kind of stay for a while. It's kind of like money. The more you have of it, the faster it seems to grow and scale. But most people stay right here in 2 while they are learning how to delegate. They're learning how to really implement and build their systems. Once they get to that stage 3, at that point they're really instituting the CRM, leveraging APIs, leveraging AI, really focused on the compliance aspect of things. You really start to see hyper growth during this time, and then eventually you get to stage 4 where you have full operator freedom and the business runs like a top even if you're not there. So the goal, the final goal is my physical appearance mandatory in order for my business to run? The answer to that needs to be no if you're wanting to scale to that point. Final takeaways real quick. Kill the hero complex. You can't do everything on your own. You have limited bandwidth. Automate your infrastructure. Don't do everything manually. Again, there's not enough time in the day, and it creates user error and wrong keystrokes, and all kinds of problems can come from it. Systematize the human scale. Create trainings for them. Pour into them. Look at their KPIs. Pay attention to those things. And help them and coach them. Don't berate them. And then next, protect your calendar. AM for what you need to do with it, PM for what you need to do with it. The daytime is for your work, but create some sort of routine. And then finally, if you are looking for a all-in-one CRM solution, GoGuruX is the answer to that. Just this morning, today is the 23rd of June, and just this morning we have released 6 new modules into GoGuruX. We're constantly releasing new pieces into it. So if you are interested, would like a demo, you can email us at support@brockpartners.com or give us a call, 662-844-3300. We'd be happy to give you a walkthrough and a demo. Other than that, hope you've enjoyed it. If you have questions, you can reach me, will@brockpartners.com. Thank you so much and have an excellent day.